Divine Discourse delivered by Bhagawan Sri Sathya Sai Baba on October 4th, 1957, on the occasion of Hospital Day at the General Hospital, Prashanthi Nilayam, Andhra Pradesh. O man, think with a composed mind as to what great joy you have derived by forgetting the lotus eyed Lord, by expending all your talents, by wasting life and spending the whole day in reckless pursuit of livelihood. Body is a pile of five elements. It has to perish someday. The indweller has no illness, and he has no birth or death. Truly, there are no traces of illusion in him. Know that the indweller Atma is God verily. Embodiments of divinity. The anniversary of our General Hospital, which we are celebrating at our Prashanthi Nilayam today, may come as a surprise to some people. Health is the most important aspect for pursuing dharma, artha, kama, and moksha, that is, seeking of righteousness, wealth, family comforts, and liberation. Happiness is derived from good health indeed. It is possible to realize the indweller Atma only through a happy disposition. It is in this context that the preeminence of good health is being stressed upon today. The health of your body is largely dependent on food and other habits, and hence everyone should exert control over them. Bad habits, especially those related to food, are the root cause of all types of illness. There cannot be any scope of illness when there is proper knowledge about the body's functioning, followed by necessary precautions. Instead of pursuing treatment after contracting a disease, it is always better to follow precautionary steps to prevent illness. But without exerting human instinct and discrimination, people are inviting diseases and are having mental stress while struggling for treatment, thereby aggravating disease further. Man is distant from happiness because of diseases. Limitation of diet is good for health. When we ponder about the ways our ancestors followed regarding health related aspects, and in the light of Ayurveda, we find that our contemporary ways are altogether different. It is said, Yeka bhukte mahayogi, dvibhukte mahabhogi, tribhukte maharogi. He who consumes one meal a day is considered a renunciant or yogi. He who consumes two meals a day is called luxuriant or bhogi, and who consumes three meals a day is regarded as a patient or rogi. In those olden days, there were no habits of tea, coffee, or breakfast. In the name of lunch, people are indulging like gluttons these days. After eating stomach full of endless varieties of food, there is no space left in the stomach even to belch. Then there is the so called tea time, which is virtually pampered as the second lunch by some people. The dinner follows. This type of eating results in sleeplessness and rolling on the bed incessantly from one side to the other. Health is thus spoiled due to this kind of food abuse. Therefore, everyone should endeavor to control the intake of food. Excessive eating is also leading to a deficiency in the availability of food stocks. There is a saying in Telugu, Ati tinoi mati hani, mita tinoi ati hai, meaning excessive eating is detrimental to the mind, whereas regulated eating gives abundant happiness. So, if one wishes to lead a joyful life, one should eat less and do more work, which enhances abilities. When such an attitude prevails, the country of Bharat will certainly assume the form of Annapurna, the goddess of food, bestowing all pervading happiness. But alas, due to utter lack of will, the country is clamoring and saying, Annamo Ramachandra, give food, O Lord Rama. In fact, there is no dearth of God's grace. The defect lies in our efforts. Proper efforts, coupled with sincere prayers to God, will certainly bring abundant happiness. Everyone should properly observe these subtleties to this end. There can be no dearth of God's grace. Man cannot live even a second without God's grace. Our scriptures have therefore prescribed prayer to God twice a day. During the wakeful stage, we are to some extent capable of protecting ourselves against the vagaries of the five elements. But during sleep, as all the five elements get merged, our bodies are 100% dependent on God's protection. God remains gladly attentive all along our sleep mode in order to protect us from calamities. In view of this, our scriptures have exhorted people to pray to God before going to bed. During the Brahma Muhurta, early morning before sunrise, people are required to pray, saying, Swami, you have carefully protected my body all along my sleep, and hence I pray to you in gratitude. Even a small victory is due to God's grace. Don't we say thanks to someone who offers us a little food or some water? We must admit that we have a higher responsibility to thank God who is protecting our lives all along. We must pray and thank God especially during the Brahma Muhurta. Because of our gross ingratitude towards this great compassionate protector, we humans are turning into cruel beasts and committing atrocities around the world. So, it is essential for man to behave like a man. Even a small endeavor or achievement is due to God's grace, but not due to human strength. Lack of this type of understanding is the reason behind all these troubles in the world. Deep understanding is important. Control on food habits, along with duty bound efforts, will lead to the prosperity of the country. You all know that when a person goes to buy a car, he first inquires about the model's mileage. We prefer more mileage with lesser consumption of petrol. Similarly, our output of work should be compatible with our intake of food. But we are not bothered to achieve this compatibility. We desire something, but our actions are different from our aspirations, and therefore result in chaos. Health at an individual as well as national level can certainly be achieved when our efforts are charged with pure intentions and when our food habits are properly controlled. The anniversary celebration pertains to health. It is important to give proper thought to the aspects of physical health. Many people who were adepts in dhyana or meditation, yoga, and tapas, that is penance, have considered the body as a chariot. So, it is our responsibility to protect this chariot against all types of vagaries and obstacles without any slackness. You must develop a strong belief that dhyana is the right path to reach God. But proper meditation is not possible without good health. When one is ill, some parts of the body will cause trouble, hindering the process of meditation. Thus, we lose concentration on the goal. To keep the body alert, we need to avoid certain types of food which cause tamas or dullness. Fasting is helpful to the body. In Bharat and all over the world, many industries are providing weekly holidays. What is the need for a holiday on a Sunday? By providing some rest to the body and mind, we are indeed protecting their energy. So is the case with medicines. Even a mechanical device needs some rest or break. Having said that, are we taking appropriate steps to provide the right kind of rest to our body? The answer is an emphatic no. With the practice of upavasa or fasting, we will be benefiting ourselves as also the country. It is like rendering service to the self and the society at the same time. A day's fasting rejuvenates the body. Regarding our attitude towards fasting, there is a saying in Kannada: Indu Madide Ekadasi, Bandu Tinde Nalvattu Dose. It is not proper to eat dosas on the day of fasting. On a fasting day, in lieu of a regular meal, people consume half a kilo upma, 2 liters of milk, and 6 banana fruits. How can you call it fasting? During fasting, you should not eat anything. Instead, you should drink water so that all the accumulated bad stuff gets drained off, whereby your health gets improved. On the contrary, if you go on adding fuel to the accumulations, ill health shoots up gradually. Therefore, regulation of food is necessary for good health. Reckless food habits are a real cause of ill health. The so called modern culture in this regard is, in fact, rustic. In the past, people used to eat rice mixed with curds in the morning. Because of this, they were endowed with sattvika ideas, pious thoughts, peaceful demeanor, and robust health. These days, people are running to hotels early in the morning and eating all types of food. In this regard, humans are proving themselves inferior to animals. A dog will not eat when it has a fever. Even if you keep a cup of milk near its mouth and nudge it to drink, the dog will not drink. You will find all birds and animals always sticking to structured food habits. You will never find them deviating from their habits. This is the reason why generally birds and animals do not fall sick. You will not find in the animal world the extent of diseases suffered by humans. Ill health is on a constant increase in mankind. Blatant deviation from the principles and regulations is the main cause for all diseases. Extravagance and reckless abuse are wreaking havoc on health. Control of food leads to control on senses. We get nearer to God as we control our food habits. There can be no happiness where there is ill health. Mind is the lord of the 5 senses of knowledge and 5 senses of action. Hence, mind is regarded as the 11th sense. All calamities are due to the fact that all senses are subordinated to the mind. When there is a small hole, even a big vessel becomes useless, and things kept therein get spoiled. As our body contains 11 holes, nothing in it is sustainable for long. So, in order to attain control over our senses, it is necessary to control food intake. We should not eat food as we like and at any odd time. Intake of food should be in accordance with our age, our capability, and the type of work we do. Moderation in food and other habits lead to health and happiness. For an idler, excessive eating can be detrimental to his health. You may realize this fact by closely observing the food pattern and health of those who do hard labor. Those who work hard and spend a good amount of time in the hot sun will sustain good health irrespective of what they eat. Whereas people who spend leisurely lives and those who are in the habit of eating without leaving a gap for digestion are largely suffering from ill health. You must have watched many beggars. After giving birth to a child, the very next day, the beggar woman ties the baby to her back and resumes her job of begging. She does not care what type of food she receives from various households. She feeds her child with breast milk after eating such type of food. You will always find the child kicking and rolling happily like an iron ball, enjoying whatever is given. But look at those people who are used to a sedentary lifestyle. As soon as pregnancy enters the ninth month, the woman is admitted to a nursing home and then she is fed with all sorts of medicines. Even after all this, the woman displays debility on reaching home. What is the reason? Why should there be debility in these people? In fact, it is laziness, but not debility. If only those people are engaged in work, there can be no scope for debility. You find more diseases in people who are used to sedentary lifestyle rather than those used to hard work. As we are aspiring for more and more comforts, we are incurring ever increasing diseases. There is no scope for any disease when we are determined to invite hardships, shun luxury, and act dutifully. In order to keep our health intact, we must follow do's and don'ts carefully. We should be able to carry on our domestic work by ourselves. Our lives become healthy and happy when we set limitations to food and other habits. Intense care is needed with regard to food intake. It is not proper to say that spiritual progress entirely depends on physical health. Mental health is also important. While mind depends on three qualities known as sattva, rajas, and tamas, i.e., pious, aggressive, and dull attitudes, the body depends on three aspects known as the vata, pitta, and sleshma gas, heat, and cold. Habits pertaining to food, exercise, etc., have a direct impact on bodily aspects of vata, pitta, and sleshma. Purification of thoughts pertains to mental health. Atmic joy, joy of the inner self, can be experienced when these two aspects are taken care of in a balanced manner. Just as current is received when negative and positive are joined, the combination of physical and mental purity enhances happiness. Therefore, one should be very careful with regard to food intake. It is better to stick to the habit of eating food 2 times a day, avoiding frequent grabs. Look at the old people who are 90 or 100 years old. You will find their teeth remaining strong along with good eyesight and healthy limbs. They are able to carry on their own daily chores. Their past food and other habits are the cause behind their present health condition. But these days we find prevalence of careless attitude towards food and other habits. Ahara vihara. This is why we notice 10-year-old children wearing spectacles, dental clips, and having premature gray hair. Many parents nowadays resort to overfeeding them with things like apples and tonics to tone up the child's health. This is not a proper remedy to the prevalent malice. There is no need to make a fuss about physical health. Moderation is what is required. When the temperature is 98.8, it means the condition of the body is good. In case the temperature rises to 99, it implies illness. Reduction to 95 is also an indication of illness. So, optimum temperature is always sought after. Similarly, with regard to breathing, 216,000 per day is the number considered as optimum. Either less or more of it is an indication of illness. Feed the stomach half full only. In order to maintain good health, food, water, and air are required to be maintained in proper proportions. Only half of the stomach space needs to be filled with solid food. The other half of the space should be filled with equal portions of air and water. Do not overload the stomach beyond its limit. There should always be enough space for water and air. If, on the other hand, you eat up to the neck, you are sure to suffer from indigestion. Out of avarice, people are resorting to overeating. Overindulgence is bad either way. You should be more careful with your health. You should always eat a bit less than what you are capable of. Avoid overeating at any time. Just as we try to protect physical health, we should strive to protect spiritual health as well. Prasadam is the essence of God's grace. Whenever and whatever you eat, it should be first offered to God. In the old days, there was a practice of offering food to God before starting to eat anything, prevalent especially among Brahmins, Vaishyas, and Kshatriyas. As a means of offering, a little water is sprinkled over the food, prokshana. Some people may deride this practice, saying, "You are only showing food to God perfunctorily, but actually enjoying it yourself." But really, what you have offered is not mere food, it is sanctified food. Once it is sanctified, the food turns into what is known as prasadam, or God's gift. Such food becomes pure and sacred. Therefore, it is the essence of God's grace. The heat or fire of digestion in our stomach is called Jataragni, who is none other than God. He who is the essence of five basic elements is residing in our elemental body in the form of Jataragni. So then, is it not an offering to God? You don't know who you are. You are distancing yourself from God by deluding about your body. Pave a flowery path into your future. Nadappa preached in Kannada. People not knowing Kannada may not be able to appreciate the beauty of his words and his beautiful teachings. He passed on his thoughts to posterity wholeheartedly. The reason for all the agitations in the mind is lack of faith in self rather than in a food dependent body. People are reposing faith in all sorts of things but are not having faith in God. More than the impact of foreign culture, the attitude of parents is the reason behind this malady. Only when parents practice is there scope for children to follow. You should therefore make it your lifelong mission to talk about God and divinity with all people you come across. Some people may mistake it, but soon they will realize its purity and validity. In fact, there is nothing better than this type of campaign. On the face of it, people may feel hurt, but know that this paves a flowery path for the future and for earning God's grace. Let not your boat of life develop any holes. You should preserve such noble teachings in your heart and maintain good health by limiting the food and avoiding bad thoughts with proper control of the mind. There is nothing happier than an attitude of detachment and contentment. Contentment is utterly lacking in this contemporary world. Even while enjoying a comfortable life, the mind craves for more and more luxuries and enjoyments. Will the mind ever get satiated? Just as one wish is fulfilled, another wish crops up in mind. Man is becoming a slave to avarice and is reaping sorrow after sorrow. Avarice is a great sin. Be content with what you have. You should take firm resolve to lead a life of contentment and serve your country while taking good care of your health. It is most important to consider faith in God as your breath. There should be no let up in this regard. Of course, this chariot of the body needs careful attention. However, you should not consider its pursuit as the only goal of life. Cross the river before the boat develops holes. Just as a river flows between two banks, life with all the turmoils is flowing between two banks, one side of which is known as Iham, this mundane world, and the other side known as Param, supreme place or salvation. Having got stuck on this bank of the mundane world, somehow we acquired this boat called the body by spending our accumulated wealth in the form of meritorious deeds, with a wish to cross over to the bank of Param. We can reach the bank of Param or liberation safely only when we make use of bhakti, devotion, and vairagyam, renunciation, as the two oars of this boat in the struggle to cross the turbulent river of life. On the contrary, if you ignore the dire necessity and postpone efforts to cross over until old age, Can you ever reach the bank of Param, the decrepit and useless boat that is the body? You will not know whether you will reach the bank or down into the river's mud. Therefore, he is a real man who sincerely strives to cross over this river before the boat develops holes. Uniqueness of human life. At the time when the throat is assaulted by phlegm, relatives lose hope and hasten to remove the body. Yama's soldiers start dragging the body with nooses, and while wife and children start weeping aloud, is it possible to utter Hari's name? It is possible to utter God's name during the dreadful last moments of life. People will not permit a death inside the house, whether it is the place of birth or it is built by you. If someone dies while on a cot, the cot will be discarded. Therefore, it is not right to attach importance to this kind of body and this kind of life. As long as you are traveling in the car, it is necessary that all parts of the car function properly. But you should not identify yourself with the car. In the same manner, the jiva, individual self, who is riding the chariot of the body, should not feel oneness with the body. With over intensity of attachment or delusion towards the body, Deha Pranti, people are losing sight of self, Jiva Bhava. Treating the body as a chariot, you must strive to merge the self into the divine principle. This is the uniqueness of human life. Do not misuse divine power. God has bestowed Sugnana, sacred knowledge, in various forms only upon human beings. Out of the 84 lakhs of living species, none else has received this special privilege. Any amount of training you may give to a lion or an elephant, they will not abandon their original instincts, though they can be trained to stand on a stool. You may feed a tiger with milk right from its birth. It will not eat puri, oil fried dish made of wheat flour, with any amount of coaxing. The moment it sees blood, the tiger pounces upon it. That is the tiger's nature. Any amount of training cannot turn it into a herbivorous. This is not so with a human being. With intense practice of good pursuits, Manava, man, becomes Madhava, God. Nara, the man, becomes Narayana, God. And Jana, the man, becomes Janardana, God. Therefore, know that this kind of divine power is bestowed upon mankind only. We should make proper use of it. No living being has greater capabilities than man in this world. Some aspects of drinking water. Water is most essential for all living beings. Therefore, it is necessary to explain ways of using it for good health. Water can be taken half an hour before eating food. Water is also present in the solid food we eat. Excess of fruit juice reduces moisture content of the muscles, leading to fatigue. Swami knows these deeper aspects of health more than the doctors. Water purifies blood vessels. If you consume a little amount of water and fruit juices in excess, which have very little water content, the moisture of muscles will deplete. Life depends on water. In order to purify all parts of the body, it is better to fast once in a while and to drink a good amount of water. It is not good to drink hot water. It is all right to take some warm water during a cold or fever. However, you can drink water that is boiled and cooled. By boiling water, the harmful bacteria in it get destroyed. But remember that Swami is not asking people to pamper the body too much. Why should we maintain the body, the Deha, in good health? It is for the sake of realizing the Dehi, the indweller self. How can you concentrate on God when all your attention is focused on body's health and its pursuits? Health aspects pertaining to daily chores and ordained activities. You find wrestlers and bodybuilders focus their attention on the body always. They have only two avocations in life: eating and exercising. All their life is spent on these two aspects only. But do we need that kind of feeding and exercises? We need to exercise our senses. The senses need to be subjugated. It means senses are to be kept under proper check at all times. We must consume only to the extent of sustaining good health. It is imperative that we eat on time and sleep on time. Daily chores and duties are imposed necessities, and we must discharge them with due attention. Health can well be preserved in this manner. Sun rays are important for health. Food, clothes, and house are basic needs for man. These three need to be addressed in relation to health because of their potential in spreading diseases. In these modern days, people are keen to avoid direct exposure to sun rays and thereby become easy targets for various ailments. Watch those farmers working in the fields, sans shirts on their bodies. Generally, they are found in robust health. Through sun rays, our body is deriving many benefits. Apart from nourishment to the body, the sun rays are helpful in destroying harmful bacteria. These days, we are building houses in a way that there is no scope for sun rays to enter the house. Also, the clothes we wear are not sun friendly, and our places of eating are devoid of sunlight. These are some of the causes leading us to various types of ill health. Chandrama manaso jatau chaksho surya ajayato. Mind is akin to moon, and buddhi or intellect is akin to the sun. These two are providing us with inner purity. The external moon and sun are providing external purity to our physical bodies. You should know that these two internal and external aspects are like an object and its reflection. In reality, they are not different from each other. Regulations for attaining Atmic bliss. All those who seek happiness through the spiritual path will have to maintain good health, but should not evince excessive concern on anything. Extravagance leads to sorrow. Therefore, in order to enjoy Atmic bliss, joy of inner self, strive to spend all your time in spiritual pursuits such as meditation, yoga, and bhajan, that is, singing of hymns and devotional lyrics. at the same time endeavoring to maintain the body weight lightly by regulated eating and hard work. You will succeed in spiritual pursuit by following this type of regulated routine. Well, sleep well, and get up early in the morning for doing Omkara, chanting Om. Many people want to practice meditation, but they won't get up until 7 or 8 in the morning, even though the alarm clock keeps on chiming. They even put it off in anger and continue to sleep. What is the reason? It is because laziness has overtaken the body. As you eat in abundance, the stomach turns into an abode of Kumbhakarna. Once he enters, he will not get up until 6 months. So, in such a case, you wish to dissuade Kumbhakarna, you need to limit your intake of food. Purify your stomach by fasting once a week. Therefore, take a resolve to follow strictly the regulations of food and other habits, and to spend all the time in spiritual pursuits so as to derive Atmic bliss. Do not neglect the ordained duties. Especially in our contemporary Bharat, we are witnessing the prevalence of food shortages, widespread diseases, and other types of hardships. Some may tend to attribute these maladies to lack of God's grace. But God's grace is not a thing that comes sometimes and goes at other times. God's grace is permanent or everlasting. Know that the principle of Atma, the core inner divinity, is all pervading and everlasting. We should conduct ourselves with extreme care in discharging our ordained duties without causing aspersions on the pure and ever sacred divinity. Persevering strongly on these lines, we can certainly serve the body, the Deha, as well as our country, the Desham. And this is the proper way to establish divinity in society and to set an ideal on the spiritual essence to the world. Use your discriminative power. On this occasion, Kasturi spoke in English on the aspect of health. Some of you might not have understood the speech in English. Why the hospital is built when Swami is present in this place? That is the question. Some people ask such questions derisively because of a lack of discriminative power. They are asking why the hospital is built, but they are not asking why the mess or canteen is built. And they insist upon enhancing canteen facilities. This type of argument comes only from loose thinking. Your own deeds are giving happiness or sorrow. Some people argue that Swami is there to take care of everything. In fact, Swami is neither setting right nor destroying anything. You should ponder well on this. God is granting neither happiness nor sorrow. Your own deeds are reflecting as providence, causing happiness or sorrow. Your belch is in accordance with what you eat. You cannot ask for a chapati when there is only rice flour in the kitchen. Do you expect a cucumber belch after eating mango? Therefore, our sorrow or happiness is in accordance with our own deeds. God is a witness to everything without any doership attached to him. He is neither getting angry nor pleased with you. You should try to ponder this aspect deeply. Psychology and health. To mitigate an ailment, some people suggest the use of vibhuti, while others may prefer to use a pill. You will find many people having faith in pills and other medicines rather than vibhuti. It is not unnatural or a wrong attitude. But when a person who is suffering from a headache is bent on using medicine, and if you thrust vibhuti on him, surely vibhuti will not have any effect on him. He gets relief from headache after he goes to a doctor and gets a pill of Saridon for him. Thus, treatment and cure are related to the human psyche, and man's mental attitude plays a prominent role in a large number of cases of ill health. This is psychology. One small example. I hope the doctors present here would not get offended. A patient does not like it when an experienced person tries to offer the right medicine that is available at home. But he gets cured when the doctor at the hospital gives an injection. Therefore, mental attitude has a great role in the aspect of health. It is your duty to avoid inconvenience to others. We have established this hospital keeping in view the mental attitudes of people and with the aim of relieving people from diseases and spreading happiness. Just now, Kasturi said that people here are getting cured because of Swami's divine power rather than doctors' treatments. He spoke only about the people who were cured, but he did not mention the deaths occurring. Does it mean that people cured have Swami's grace and those who died had no grace from him? This is not true. It is not a question of grace on someone and a lack of it on others. Bodies depart just as they came. Has Sai Baba come in order to save bodies from death? No, no. No one can save the body from its death. The body follows its nature and leaves after discharging its duty that was imposed on it. However, it is our duty that we do not cause inconvenience to others at any time. This frail body, made of five elements, its departure cannot be predicted. Even though its limit is said to be 100 years, it should not be taken for granted. Either during boyhood, prime youth, middle age, old age, or ripe old age, either in township, forest, or deep water, where from it departs is not known. Death is certain for man. Before the body reaches the end, one should use intelligence to know one's own self is the principle of dharma. Sri Sathya Sai's word is the path of truth. It is not possible for the body to exist permanently. Many Maharshis, saints, have renounced the world, carried out strict penances, allowed their bodies to decay, and reached the goal. Have these people undertaken all these penances for the sake of comforts or riches? Not at all. Be uniform in your thoughts and deeds. Look at this huge gathering of people in thousands. Ask any of them why they gathered here. Everyone says, I came seeking moksha. I want to reach the abode of God. I want to have God's grace. But their real intentions are altogether different. Suppose I ask people, who among you want moksha? Everyone will raise hands. But when I put another question, should I grant you moksha right now? All of them will backtrack. Look at their sincerity about moksha. They start running away saying, I prefer to have moksha after 10 years since I have some family problems. Is this the right kind of desire for moksha? People are ruining themselves due to lack of uniformity between their wishes and efforts. Satsang and sattvika food are very important in life. The time that was past will not return. What is in store in the future is not known. The present time is fleeting. Then why are we craving for a long life? You must strive hard to do good deeds and aspire to enjoy happiness within the span of life available to you. Satsang, company of good people, and sattvika ahara, or non irritating vegetarian food, are said to be very important aspects of spiritual life. There is no scope for bad traits in a satsang. Spending time together in an atmosphere of pious exchanges of thoughts, words, and deeds is known as satsang. Life becomes relevant when you sanctify time. Do not call it bhajan simply because 10 people have gathered and are singing songs. Do not call it Nagara Sankirtana when people are engaged in mundane thoughts, even while walking and singing along with the group. This type of bhajans and Nagara Sankirtanas will not enter into Swami's ears. Swami's hair covering the ears acts like a sound filter. This hair will not allow unpleasant sounds into the ears. I will not permit any bad sounds to enter my ears. Only the relevant sounds and thoughts are accepted. You will derive great joy when you get up early in the morning and repose thoughts on God with a pure heart. Always strive to sanctify the time by driving out bad thoughts and words. Only then life becomes relevant. Make the best use of these 10 days and preserve these diamonds in your hearts. Adorn your lives with these precious recollections as often and as much as you can. I hope that henceforth you will not commit any mistakes and that all of you bring fulfillment to your lives as well as the country of Bharat. All the doctors have gathered here on the hospital's anniversary day. They have been rendering their respective duties. We should try to think upon our own duties. Make good use of these hospital facilities for quick relief at times of illness. Doctors should treat the patients with great care. Women on another side and men on another side must pay attention to keeping sufficient stocks of medicines ready for instant supply. Make good use of your life. I have told this many times. We make necessary arrangements in advance for each and every occasion. We take a pair of clothes in a bag while leaving for a marriage. Before going to a cinema, we dress up and carry some amount. While leaving for an evening walk, we ensure that we take a walking stick in hand. But what about the preparations with regards to our final journey? You can cancel your journey to attend a marriage. You can postpone going to a cinema. But it is impossible to cancel or postpone your final journey, that is death. This journey is a reality. Therefore, prior preparations are imperative to this last journey. What are these preparations like? Practice on entertaining good thoughts as a continuous process in life. Nothing more is needed. Always fill the heart with noble feelings. Engage hands in good deeds and spend time in satsang. By spending life in this manner, we will not be perturbed by whatever difficulties we come across. Punarjanma na vidyate. There is no scope of rebirth at all. If, on the contrary, we keep on thinking all sorts of things at the time of death, we will come back, take another birth in order to enjoy or suffer on account of those wishes. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, birth and death, again and again. Then what is the use of this birth? While ending my speech, I bless and hope that all of you make good use of this opportunity and make your lives fulfilled. Jai Sai Ram.